Well, hello there. It's been
a long time.
Jokes aside, I have returned worse than a case of untreated Simplex 2 if a vengeance, just so I can give my whole, unbiased opinion on the shitshow worse than a shit-filled ice cream sundae mess known as the Bionicle community nowadays. From fedora-wearing fags like Paisley, who unironically thinks he's the next Steven Spielberg. Yes, he thinks that. Psst, hey TSO1, have you mastered the green screen yet? Like, holy shit, man, and you claim to go to a film school with those horrible effects in your videos? But don't worry, I will do a full fucking inquisition worse than the Spanish one on Nathan Paisley, because at this point his whole YouTube career is fading away faster than his receding hairline. Like, seriously. For a channel that has like 7,000 subscribers, he gets like almost no views. Only when he makes like shitty top 10s, but that's another story. So as I was continuing, to weird idiots who like to sexualize plastic toys by drawing porn of said biomechanical beings. I don't know, man. Fetishes exist, but I have never seen people get turned on by drawings of Gadussies or Gadunka drawn with female genitals, which I have no doubt to consider that the man-babies that encompass this decaying community unironically ejaculate to while they repeat their daily mantra of Bionicle is love, Bionicle is life. With such amazing specimens and trends color me interested that I surely will take on this entire Sonic-esque fanboys and dissect it to the bone faster than a hungry piranha in a dry season. So how did this happen? How can such simple concepts of making your own mocks, take the lore you're given, and either expand your own story on it, or make your own story altogether devolve into autistic screeching and lusting over plastic toys? Well, as everybody knows, every community have their own cringy dark side that engage in actions that make me question humanity. There's no doubt about that. However, we must also consider the factors that surround the decadence of the Bionicle community. And because of this, let me elaborate a theory that I have developed after all these months on noticing the community. I call it the dry lake theory. You see, just like a lake is supplied by rainwater, a fandom who has a constant stream of new content they can expand on maintains some sort of semblance of normalcy because most good content, outshines the shit content that is present in the said niche. However, when a lake is deprived of its water sources, then it dries up, leaving behind only the muck, gunk, and the other nasty shit no one likes. This analogy fits perfectly to the Bionicle community when you consider it sitting comfortably like a quadriplegic land whale on two very dead runs of this once amazing team. With no intake of content, the Bionicle community either has dried up or has resigned itself to a fate worse than being forgotten. Don't take me wrong, there's still good content creators in this community like Metro New Legacy or Callan. However, all these people seem to be like a fucking diamond in the middle of a shit pile when you consider the amount of garbage that is coming nowadays from said content creators. With these kind of people sticking in your face worse than an ice-covered snowball, they have become the norm of the new content. We always had horrible content, don't get me wrong. Hell, most of the old content when you look at it without the, lenses of nostalgia is terrible, by the standards we hold today. When it comes to content that entertains us, however, back then it wasn't important the quality as much that the quantity mattered. Today's standards, however, when it comes to Bionicle content is subpar when you take a broad sweep of what is present on YouTube and DeviantArt in equal measure. Because of this phenomena taking place, a lot of people who were most likely fans at one point have taken the same attitude as I am taking now. Instead of pointing out in videos the horrible content that they produce. Of course, the people who are usually highlighted in the videos don't take criticism to face value, and like a bunch of spurs call it either hate targeted at themselves, or malice intended to destroy their so-called career like Godzilla trying to jump the shit out of the Chrysler building. Just look at the people like Willem. He claims that his horrible mocks that look like some sort of fucking abomination created by energized protodermis are good. That's right, a guy that has mocked for the same amount of time like I did actually is thinking that I have some sort of bone to pick with him. Then starting to write me essays on DeviantArt on how I am some sort of troglodyte that doesn't know what he's talking about. With other people saying the same things about his mocks on how they look like a junk, especially his G2 Makuta weird Titan thing. But he blocked the comment that pointed that out because he's a little bitch that can't take criticism. By the way, villain, I can still see your shitty mocks. Your attempts at trying to stop me from laughing at your horrible creation was useless and pathetic. You claiming that you're the superior man in this shitshow that you could have averted when you are trying to block my attempts at viewing your shitty mocks didn't work. But I guess that is what happens in this community most of the times. Another example I could point out is the new shitshow drama regarding RSG, or Red Star Games. Their attempts at making Kanohi that look like those from G1 didn't stick well with people who, saw them in the first place. Even I thought at first that they looked like some sort of weird alien Bionicle masks, or they look so fragile in their design that even by looking at them wrong, they might break. After this, they started spurging and freaking the fuck out when people criticized their masks, or how their Dungeons & Dragons tabletop card game ripoff won't ever fly. You guys do know that Bionicle tried this many times both in 2001 and 2002. And it didn't work because no one likes card tabletop games anymore, aside Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Dungeons & Dragons nerds, but that's a different story. They entered into full panic mode on their Discord server, banning the wrong people like Rise. Yes, they actually did that and they had to apologize after, disregarding criticism people brought up that might have helped them or improved for the better. Instead, what they did, they cowered in fear like headless chickens trying to shut people down and acting like nothing happened. Psst, that is called damage control. Aside that, I did forget to mention how many people have either left or don't support their project because of their snobbish attitude they have taken, many of them citing their creative differences because these people do only what they think is best regarding their projects. They take no criticism and they don't listen to anyone else. I do hope they release their sad attempt of a game and see how it will fade out of relevance after like 3 months. When the fanbase gets bored as fuck, especially when they have to do maths to play a card game. The attention span sadly nowadays is very short.
Down against a tough enemy such as a Borak, Vaki, or even a Makuta and his Roxy hordes. Down against a tough enemy such as a Borak, Vaki, or even a Makuta and his Roxy hordes.
What are you, some kind of troll or something?
When you take all this into consideration and analyze it as a normal, rational, critical thinking person, you can't deny the strong right-turn spurgery that is ready to crash faster than a NASCAR driver, that is the Bionicle community nowadays. So consider this the warm-up into a full series of episodes of complete and utter failure, where we will tackle both people and trends that now outline the dry lake that is this community. Well, thanks for watching. When I made this video, I had the realization that probably I will get a lot of shit from butthurt people who will use ad hominems to get their point across, telling me how I'm a shit-stirring monkey while their castle of cards come crashing down around them. But for me, it doesn't matter. No one can tell me what I can or can't do. If anything, it only emboldens me to continue this, probably all the way to the end. Next video will be on our favorite master filmmaker, Nathan Paisley aka TSO1, which will probably be documentary sized considering how much shit there is to dig about this unique individual.